Beautiful. All right, let's go. So, on behalf of DIIT, welcome. You know my name. I'm Laura, Program Manager for the Office of Digital Literacy and Inclusion. Lisa will join us in a little bit. She's got a meeting with our lawyer friends from OCR. As you know, we have a compliance deadline looming. So she's going to join us in a little bit, but I think Christina is here. She's kind of helping me pull double duty. So she's in the other room, making sure folks get into this room. But Christina, if you are here, feel free to say hi. I think she's still in the other room. So
I'm in the other room. Thank you, Laura.
and I just heard her in the other room say, "Yep, I'm in this one." So on behalf of Christina, welcome. And you know, Latiqua is also on the back end of things supporting. So please, 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 um, feel free, use ooh, hold on here. Use the features of the chat. We're going to get you supported. All right, hold on here. Too many things going on. All right, there we go. So I'm going to pass it over. I believe, Diana, are you in here? Yep, Diana is. So I'm going to pass it over to Diana. She's filling in for Derry. And so she's just going to kick it off from the face side of things.
Yes, good morning, everyone. It's great to have everyone here this morning. I am so excited as there has been such a huge request for the Zoom. I'm sure we're going to learn a lot today. It's going to be very informative, very intuitive, and of course, very engaging as always. I'm sorry you hear my puppies in the back. I have two Siberian Huskies, and sometimes they're being just very playful. And they want attention, of course. So thank you so much. So I'll turn it back to you. If there's any additional, updates or hot topics, I don't want to stop because I know it's a lot of information that's going to be processed this morning. I will be including some information in the chat. Thank you, everyone. And I also will be helping with support with Q&As as needed. Have a great day. I'm excited.
Thank you so much, Diana. I'm so excited too. I mean, I look forward to these PDs every week, as I know a lot of you do as well. So thank you so much for all your energy. I'm also gonna fill in for Tali. Tali had some childcare issues, but she sends her warm wishes, and she wanted me to just go over a couple of quick things with Common Sense and Wide Open School. So you know, Common Sense and Wide Open School, two great resources that you can be using. Please, please, please share these with your families, especially as we're heading into the holidays. There's tons of winter break activities on here. So, in case you haven't seen this, remember, this is on Wide Open School, and there's a specific kind of like DOE portal, I should say. Right now, from what I understand, it's not super different from just wideopenschool.org, but there will be some exclusive content on the DOE side. So that is why you're seeing this nycschools.wideopenschool.org. So I'll quickly take you there so that you can see some of the really great winter activities. Again, we know we're heading into winter break and it's like, oh my goodness, what do parents do, right? So there's tons of activities. They have this holiday gratitude. It's under student activity. So if you're wondering how to get there, and then you can, sift by grade level. So if you're looking for something on the older side, they've got really great activities. Some videos, some non-digital activities as well. As you can see, letters of gratitude to essential workers. I actually think that that's a beautiful activity. Not only is it kind of going to keep some of that learning going in the academics, but then you can also send a really beautiful letter to some of our essential workers who are continuing to work so hard during this pandemic. So lots of great resources here on Wide Open School. Again, if you haven't checked it out, definitely worth you checking it out. Send this to not only your teachers and your staff, but make sure you're sharing this resource with parents. Parents need so much support right now, right? Like they need it. So please, please, please make sure that they know that this is available to them. And then you can manage some of those digital learning tools. If you need more support, again, parents also not so familiar with some of these digital tools. So Common Sense has the Ultimate Guide to Zoom, Ultimate Guide to YouTube. TikTok, if your kids are on there, we know that that's taken off a whole lot in these past few months of quarantine. It's like all the kids are making TikToks, but they can't somehow submit their Google assignment. I'm not going to touch that one. But either way, Common Sense has made it really easy for you to share this information with parents. So if they kind of want to know, what do I need to know about Zoom? How can I help my kid get onto, the Google Meet stuff? It's all there on Common Sense. I'll click on the Zoom one today because, again, we got the folks from Zoom in the house. So I'll just shout this out. But quick video, not even a full 2 minutes, 5 things parents should know about Zoom, some of the features of the platform, and how parents can kind of help support the process. Again, I think parents are just looking for, how can I help my kid? I'm not the most tech savvy, and so therefore don't know if I'm really doing this right. But with that, let's get back into our presentation. We're going to skip the polls for today because I want to get to Zoom. And I think we have almost everyone here. So I'm going to pass it over to MedHat and the Zoom team. Thank you guys so much. We're so excited.
Thank you so much. Super excited to do the training for you guys. My name is Medhat Ahmed, and I'm your customer success manager for the NYC DOE. Our agenda for today, we're going to talk about logging in. We're going to review some of your settings on your Zoom web account. Additionally, we're going to talk a little bit more about scheduling meetings, hosting your meetings, and in-meeting controls. And we're going to wrap it up with mobile application resources and support, and we'll open it up for Q&A. So we should have plenty of time to be able to take on your Q&A. So please feel free to put your Q&A in the chat. Laura and team will be able to field some of those as I'm going through. I'll also pause throughout to make sure that we are getting your questions answered, but even more importantly, we will have time at the end for Q&A. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. In order for you to sign in, you are going to go into nycdoe.zoom.us. This is the website that you would need to go into in order to sign in to your NYC DOE Zoom account. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat so you guys have that. Oh, Laura, thank you for doing that. Appreciate it. Simply, you're going to come in here, click on sign in. I'm actually just going to sign out from my test account over here to show you the sign in page. Once you're on here, you're simply just going to put in your username, your password, and sign in. Oh, I got that. Let's see here. Give me a second and let me type in the correct password. All right, here we go. Oh no.
World.
Yep, there we go. Well, if not, we'll go ahead and open a different window here. Just give me a second. So anyways, you're gonna come in here, you're gonna log in to your profile. Once you're logged into your profile, you'll be able to see your name, some basic information about your account, and I should have this ready to go here. Great. And here we go. You're gonna see your name, the department that you're a part of. Additionally, you'll be able to see your sign-in email, the type of license that you have. Most of you guys will be licensed. Also, if you do prefer a different language than English, you can always come in here and edit your language. Additionally, you can go ahead and change your time zone if you're not in Eastern time zone. I'm assuming all of you guys located in New York. So you guys are in Eastern time zone. Additionally here, the only thing that I would like to call out is the host key. If you're ever not signed into your account, you'll be asked for a host key. A host key is a 6-digit number that is automatically assigned to you. Just make sure if you do do need a host key, this is where it's located. Given that, let's hop in and go into the settings. Most of these settings have been combed through with your IT department. They have locked some settings here. As you can see, these settings are locked by admin. They've given you some ability to change certain settings on here, such as only authenticated users can join meeting. Anything that you can toggle on and off, they're giving you the ability to do so. Don't try not to deviate away from these defaults as best as you can. This is for your own security and the security of your meeting, so just keep that in mind. And anything else that has been locked, you're not going to have an ability to be able to unlock it. So only authenticated users can join meeting. There's multiple policies that you can apply for your meetings, so just to make sure that you have a secure meeting experience. Additionally, with the host video off and on, that's all been locked by the admin on here, so just keep that in mind. You really never need to come in here and change any of these settings, because again, they have been combed through and have been evaluated by the IT department. Annotations, whiteboarding, these are really cool features to be able to utilize during your meeting. You'll be able to see me utilizing some of our annotation features as we're going through this. So I have my red laser pointer to really show you where my mouse is going. Nonverbal feedback, this is critical for us to understand the difference between the nonverbal feedback, and I will show you that a little bit later. In order for you to utilize nonverbal feedback, you do need to have this toggled on, which already is, so please don't toggle it off. Meeting reactions as well, and I'll show you what meeting reactions are and what the nonverbal feedback is. So with that, that's basically all the information that you would need to review here. Let's hop into the recording. Under the recording, you never need to come in here and make any changes. Moving on to telephone, same is going to be on here. So with that, let's hop right into our meetings tab. In order for you to schedule a meeting, you can do it from multiple different ways. My recommended way is coming into your NYC DOE portal, coming into your upcoming meetings, and being able to schedule your meetings directly from here. So you're going to come in here and be able to schedule a meeting and hit on schedule meeting and be able to type in and make the meeting topic. So I'm just going to call this math class, since math is my favorite subject. And you can give your class a description or your meeting a description if you want to. It is an optional thing. Next, which is not optional, is you needing to set a date and time for your meetings. I'm actually just going to go ahead and make this for Monday the 14th at 9 a.m. The duration, you can set it up for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and you can go up from there. Just keep that in mind. As far as the duration, if you schedule the meeting for 15 minutes, the meeting ends up going for an hour. We're not going to cut you off at 15 minutes. Keep in mind that this is only for calendaring purposes. So just make sure that you go ahead and block the appropriate time to be able to block that specific time on your calendar.
MedHat, can I just jump in really quick, because I'm looking at the chat and some folks are requesting for you to go a pinch slower.
All right, that sounds good. I'll go a little bit slower as we're going through this.
Thank you.
Great. So next is going to be a time zone. You can go ahead and select the default time zone, which is pulling in from your profile, as we have shown you that a little bit earlier. If this is a recurring meeting, please go ahead and click on recurring. You can go ahead and select the recurrence, whether that you want that to be daily, weekly, monthly, or no fixed time. A no fixed time meeting is a meeting that you have on the cloud. Really good use case of this is going to be office hours. So if you're holding office hours, is for you to schedule a no fixed time, so you can hop into that meeting at any time with your students, and it's not scheduled for a specific fixed time. So just keep that in mind. You can also repeat every day, whether that's going to be on a daily or weekly. It's going to be repeating every week on a specific number of days. You can end by a specific date or after a certain number of occurrences as well. So since this is not a recurring meeting, I'm going to go ahead and check that. If you're requiring registration for your meeting, please go ahead and click on required, right? The registration is required for this meeting. And I'm actually going to go ahead and keep this so I can be able to show you registration. Security is always recommended. It's not optional for the DOE. So make sure that you can go ahead and change the passcode if you want to. Just keep in mind that it's automatically populated. We do recommend that you do use that specific code. Next is going to be reviewing your meeting options, whether that you would want the specific which policy that you would want, whether that's you want that staff policy, student policy, sign in to Zoom in general, or the DOE external policy. Just keep that in mind. Make sure that you're applying the appropriate policy for your meeting. If you want to pre-assign breakout rooms, you can go ahead and click on that, be able to create rooms on the fly here, but you can always go ahead and create those meetings on the fly while you are on the meeting. We're not going to have time to go into that. If you have questions, more than happy to post some articles on the chat to be able to direct you to correct resources. Additionally, if you want to have language interpretation, please make sure that you enable language interpretation on here. So you will have that option to be able to have different audio channels, whether that you want that for Spanish speakers or other languages if needed. Now that you've reviewed all of your options, you can simply go ahead and click on save and save that meeting. You can go ahead and add to the calendar directly, whether that you want that to be on a Google calendar or an Outlook calendar. You can always come here and copy that invite and be able to send that through your internal chat or copy and paste it into the email. So individuals will have the appropriate information that they would need in order for them to come into your meeting. Keep in mind, this is the registration link, since this is a registration required meeting. That's what I'm going to go into next. Is if you did require registration, you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom to look at your registration options. You can come in here and edit those registration questions, whether that you want to manually approve or automatically approve all registrants. It's always going to default to automatically approve all registrants. You can go ahead and edit your registration questions. We have pre-populated questions that you can select from if needed. Additionally, you can require some and not require others. And additionally, you can always come in here and enter your own questions as desired. Now that you've created your questions, all your registration options look great. You're going to save everything and it's going to be populated. Additionally, if you have any attendees that have registered, you can come in and cancel or resend that confirmation email to them as needed. Additionally, you can come in here and delete the meeting. You can save this meeting as a template. So if I want to keep those same exact settings and I don't want to have to remember what settings I selected, which policy that I created for a specific meeting. I just want to come in here and be able to schedule directly from a template. Please save this as a template. It will appear under your templates, and I will go into that here in a little bit. Email settings, you can come in here and be able to check your email contact information. If you want to edit that, you can change the language of that registration email to English or Spanish or any of the other supported languages. So that is available to you. Branding is going to be for that specific registration page that you are going to be sending out to individuals. So you can upload a banner and a logo. And additionally, if you're creating any polls, please come in here and edit your polls prior. If you're live streaming, all of your live streaming options are available here. Let's say that you've changed your mind, that you didn't want the staff policy for this meeting. You can always come into this page and be able to edit this meeting specifically and change the policy as needed. So I'm going to change it over to the student policy and go ahead Hit save. Also, I decided that this meeting I don't want registration for, so I'm going to go ahead and come in here and save it without registration. I can go ahead and copy that invite. As you can see here, that invite looks a little bit different since we are not requiring registration. Let me go back into my meetings. Under the My Meetings tab, you're going to have access to all of your previous meetings. Any previous meetings are going to be under here. Just keep in mind that you will, if you want to, you can always come and edit these meetings. But if you want to see your meetings, you can filter them by specific start date and time. Any meeting templates, as I've showed you earlier, how to save those templates, so you can come in here and be able to see them. So just as an FYI, you can come in here and be able to schedule directly from this template. Remember earlier, this was my math class. I did require registration. I had the staff policy on here. It automatically saved all these settings for me, so I can simply come in and just seamlessly be able to schedule that meeting and only need to go ahead and put in a specific time for the start and the duration of that meeting. All of your recordings are going to be under the recordings tab over here. So just as an FYI, this is where your recordings are going to live. Under the recordings tab, if you want to share the recording, you can simply come in here, click on share. If you want to delete that recording, you can, if you want to download that recording, you can certainly come in here and download that recording as needed. Just keep in mind that there is a policy for those recordings to be deleted. Under the recordings file, if you did decide to record anything, just keep in mind that you will have the recording file. The first one is the video file. That is going to be in the MP4 format. You will have the speaker view. You can download that. You can share that as well. Same with the audio and the transcript if needed. All right, I'm going to pause here and be able to look at and see if we have any questions on the chat. All right, I'm going to go up a little bit and see. All right, these are all comments, slower. All right. What is the maximum attendees on a DOE Zoom account? That would be 300. So you can have a maximum of 300 participants in your meeting. Will this information be emailed to us participating in this meeting? I'll be sharing the recording with Laura and team, so we will go ahead and share that recording with you. It is my understanding that will be also available on the Info Hub as well, so just keep that in mind. All right, so we already answered that question. Why do we always need to update Zoom? Excellent question. You need to update Zoom to have access to the most up-to-date features. The way that our update works is we have a philosophy here that we're not gonna pester you. Zoom just works. We're not gonna force you to update something that you don't want to update unless it's a critical thing or it's a major update, you're missing out on a whole lot of features, then we may prompt you. Maybe we may have a prompted update once a year, if that. Just keep that in mind. Throughout 2020, we only had one prompted update that was on April 27th. We have not had a prompted update since, but since April 27th, we have had a client update every single week. So good practice for you on a monthly basis, at least, at minimum. Please go in, check your updates, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. Every time we update, that means we are adding features to the client. On average per year, we do release about 300 features per year. And in order for you to have access to these new features, you do have to update to the most up-to-date client. So just as an FYI. All right, back when the DOE authorized Zoom, I was able to set my personal meeting page and used it quite a bit in September and October. Suddenly, it was locked. It was a good feature to be used. Can it be unlocked? That is a decision that the IT department has made. Also, from a Zoom perspective, using your PMI or your personal meeting ID for all of your meetings is not a good idea. It is not a secure way to have your meetings. It may be easier for you to just send out a meeting ID that is consistent, that you're always using. It is just not a good security practice for you to be able to use your PMI. So it's a decision that was made at the district level. All right. Why is Zoom not free? We do offer a free service to all of our users, and it's available to everyone to be able to utilize it. So it is free. However, there's a lot of features that you'll have access to all the features, but there is some limitations to that as well. All right, can co-host pre-assign and initiate breakout rooms with the NYC DOE account? I have a problem with this. So you asked at the right time. This last week, we have released a new re-architecture of the role, and co-hosts will have an ability to be able to manage breakout rooms as long as you are on the most up-to-date client. So you need to update to get access to that specific feature. So make sure that you update what's the maximum number. We already answered that question. Can you please explain the policies? Not really sure what you mean by policies. You can feel free to put that in the chat. Let's see here, other questions. I'm seeing a lot of comments. Why can't we pre-assign co-host? A co-host needs to be assigned at the meeting. This is just how the roles in the architecture works. You can have an alternative host that you can pre-assign prior to the meeting, and depending if you or the alternative host show up first, one of you guys would be co-host. So that's one way of doing it. It's a little bit of a workaround, but co-host, that specific role is designed to be assigned during the meeting, not prior to the meeting. How can we take attendance on Zoom? I'll show you that here in a little bit. Should the passcode ever be changed? It should be changed for every single meeting for your own security. When using closed captioning, does it translate to another languages? No, it does not. Can Zoom compile an FAQ guide? I will show you, we already have that. We have phenomenal resources. All right, let's see here. Every time I schedule a meeting, there is always a problem with the participants getting on. Am I doing it wrong? I don't think that you're doing it wrong. Participants it's simple. They click on the link. It should be able to pop up. They can join from the client. If they don't have the client, they can use our browser to be able to join your meeting. So please work with the IT department if you have any questions. How long can meetings be held? Excellent question. Meetings can have a maximum duration of 30 hours.
Ogando, is that you?
Do we have a question? All right, I'm just going to go ahead and mute everyone. All right. What about polling? How long can meetings be? What about polling? You can have up to 25 polls per meeting, 10 polls per question. Let's see, can I give co-host privilege to support my person in the office? Can't give co-host privileges. You should be able to assign a co-host privilege, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. Should authentication button be on or off? It should be on. Webinar feature, you do have to have a different license for that, work with the DOE for that. Is the policy the group who can participate? That is going to be a way to secure your meetings. That is the authentication policies that they have on there, whether that's going to be a staff, meaning that meeting is for staff, or if it's a meeting with students, or you have an external individual. Work with the IT department to decipher which one is going to be best, or there's lots of information on the info hub. All right, I'm digressing here, going into a lot of questions, but I wanted to make sure that I answer all of your questions. let's see here. If a meeting is scheduled for recording, do we need to set up a new passcode? No, it's a recurring meeting, so you will have one passcode for that specific meeting. It is encouraged that you leave it as is and not change it for that. Again, another question. Lots of questions are coming in, let's see here. I'm going to answer one more question before I need to go back into the presentation and make sure that we continue on with that. My system requirements do not allow me to use backgrounds without a green screen. Is there a workaround other than re-imaging on High Sierra? It is actually not software specific. Virtual backgrounds are hardware specific. So you can have a brand new computer, a brand new MacBook Air or MacBook, but it may have lower hardware that is not able to have the processing capacity to be able to handle virtual backgrounds. So this is not a software issue. It is more of a hardware issue. The higher end the hardware, the better it is. So you always have better performance on a high-end computer with 16 cores and 16 gig RAM than a computer with a 4 gig RAM. On a MacBook Pro, I have a newer MacBook Pro, and I also have an older MacBook Pro. When I'm on my old MacBook Pro, I just don't look that good. But on my brand new 16 gig RAM MacBook Pro, 8 core, man, I look really good on there with the virtual background. So just keep that in mind. It's not a factor of the software. It is a hardware issue. Moving on into
Can I have
Raphael, do you have a question? All right, since we don't have any questions, I'm actually going to go ahead and mute all of you guys. I will give you the ability to unmute yourself after we are done, just in case, so we're not interrupting and being respectful of everyone's time. All right. Let's see here. This is where the recordings are going to live. So just as an FYI, we talked about this. You can share all of the recordings over here, or you can go ahead and share a specific portion of the recording. If you want to share the specific view, you can copy that link to be able to share on there. So next, let's actually just hop right back into meetings and in meetings control. I'm actually going to go ahead and share my entire screen so you're able to see all of my desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and share all of that. So now you can be able to see my entire desktop here. And we're going to talk a little bit more about hosting your meeting. Keep in mind that now you've had the ability to go ahead and schedule your meeting. The next step is hosting your meeting. What is it going to take? So on here, I am currently on gallery view, and I'll show you all the different gallery views and all the cool things with gallery view. This is the time that I would love to see your beautiful faces. If you have a camera, please go ahead and turn it on so we can be able to play around with gallery view just a little bit. The more people that we have on camera, the better it's going to be. And just to make everyone comfortable, I am going to go on speaker view and be able to see me and me only. So just keep that in mind. All right, not really sure why it's defaulting back, but regardless, you can go from speaker view over to gallery view if you want to. Additionally, if you are on a newer version of the client, you're going to have a really cool ability to be able to drag and drop videos as needed, arrange them in a manner that you would want. So this is a feature that is already available to you. So Karen, I'm going to pick on you since you had your video on first. So I want to have you up on my top left corner. Next, I'm going to pick on Leah over here. I'm going to put you right next to Karen. Next, I'm going to pick on Helen. I'm going to put Helen right on the top over here. And Susan, I'm going to put you right over here. And KM, I'm also going to put you right up on the top. This admin person, I'm going to drag down to the bottom. And I'm going to drag this other admin person to the bottom. Diana, I'm going to drag you down to the bottom. Additionally, I'm going to drag Elena to the bottom. So I have all of my people that are on video be able to drag and drop them. This is the gallery view that I have as the host. I can be able to release this view, or I could request you to have that same exact view. So now if I were to stop my screen share, which I'm going to actually go ahead and do here real quick, you should be able to see the same gallery view that I have. So this is a way for you to be able to force that gallery view on everyone else, just as an FYI. So that is one way of doing it. Next is going to be, you can switch back between gallery view, speaker view, you can go into full screen, you could release the video order, and be able to get back into a regular view that is automatically reset by our algorithm. A couple of other things that I wanted to go ahead and review here is you can go ahead and mute and unmute yourself right directly from here. If you go ahead and click on the up here, you'll be able to select your microphone, your speaker, be able to test your microphone and speaker as well. You can go ahead and switch to phone audio if you want to as well. So just keep that in mind. That is available here as well. All right, I'm gonna do this one more time here, and perfect. All right. As you can see here, I'm using my AirPods Pro. They do work. Sometimes you might have a little bit of issues with your Bluetooth headsets. Always better to have a wired headset that is available and ready to go. It's going to sound much better with a wired headset than anything else. So just keep that in mind. Additionally, you can go ahead and turn on or off your video. This is an FYI, you'll have that ability to do so, and you can go ahead and select the camera that you would want to use over here as well. You can also come in here and choose virtual backgrounds and access video filters as needed. Next is going to be your meeting security. The security shield does give you an ability to lock that meeting, enable the waiting room, hide profile participants. You can allow participants to share, chat, rename themselves, and unmute themselves. Right now, none of you guys have the ability to unmute yourself just because we were getting interrupted. And start video, and you can allow others to annotate. Additionally, you can remove a participant or suspend all participant activity. That means everyone is, you're going to end all screen sharing. You're going to turn off everyone's video, put everyone on mute, just in case you had an unwanted participants on there. Next is going to be our participants. The participant list is going to be available right here. I'm just going to pop this out so we're able to look at it a little bit better. So I have all my participants here. As you can see, I have a few co-hosts right over here that I've been able to assign co-hosts during the meeting. A lot of people have their cameras off, but this is where you're going to come in and find your nonverbal feedback. You can click on more to access additional nonverbal feedback. So that's the yes, the no, the go faster, go slower, and the thumbs up, I need a break or I'm away. So now I'm going to ask you to go ahead and find that nonverbal feedback. Please go ahead and raise your hand if you do find that nonverbal feedback. And as you can see here, as people are raising their hands, I'm able to see them come up in the order that they have raised their hand. So that is how that nonverbal feedback is going to work. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say that, hey, please go slower, because that has been a request. I do have a tendency to go a little bit fast. Just keep that in mind. That is that nonverbal feedback that you can utilize that during classes as well. You can go ahead and mute all. You can invite individuals if needed. Under the more, you can ask individuals to go ahead and unmute. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit slower here. And you can allow participants to unmute themselves. You can play a chime when someone leaves or enter the meeting. You can allow participants to rename themselves. You can also lock the meeting, so meaning that no one will have an ability to enter your meeting after you lock it. You can go ahead and clear all feedback. So I'm go ahead and going to do that. And you can also enable waiting room on the fly. So that is participants. Next is going to be chat. A lot of you guys have been familiar with us. You can chat an individual, and additionally, you can go ahead and chat everyone or someone specific. That it's going to be a direct message that's going to be sent to an individual directly. Under the chat options, you can set it to so no one is able to chat. So you can completely turn that off. So now no one has an ability to be able to chat, and that has been completely turned off. And you can all decide to chat only with the host. You can chat with everyone publicly and have an ability to message people directly. Wanda, I'll try to go as slow as possible. We do have a lot of content, but I want to make sure that I give you some Q&A time. This session is being recorded, so you can always go back to the recording. So if I go slower, we're not going to cover everything. And on top of that, we will not have time for Q&A. I think it's important for you to be able to ask me questions. And all of this should be in the recording. Next, I'm going to actually talk here about screen sharing. You can go ahead and share the screen. So over here, as if you can see now my screen sharing, you can go ahead and share the entire screen. You can share a whiteboard, you can share iPhone or AirPlay through, and additionally be able to share a specific window. You can also share multiple windows at the same time. So if I wanted to go back to my screen share and be able to share those two specific windows, I can certainly do that and have both of those windows be shared. So I can share multiple windows at the same time. So just keep in mind that you would have an ability to be able to share your entire your two windows or your entire desktop as needed. And I'm going to go ahead and go back into sharing one more time and show you the additional options for sharing. So you can also go ahead and make sure that you're sharing computer sound. If you're sharing anything with audio, if you're sharing a video, it is critical that you optimize your screen for a video clip. But if you are sharing a presentation, make sure that you unclick that, because the writing may be a little bit off. So just keep in mind, only optimize your screen for video clip. If you're sharing a video, that is critical, and it is critical to share computer sound as well. Under the advanced tab, you could share virtual backgrounds. Additionally, you can share a portion of your screen. You can choose only to share computer sound only and share content from the second audio, from a second camera. Additionally, you can go ahead and share files directly from Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive, Google Drive Box, Microsoft SharePoint. Once you have decided what you wanted to share, you can go ahead and reshare that. So you can see here that I have 3 different desktops. So I'm just going to go ahead and share this specific desktop back so you guys are on my screen share. Next is going to be once you have shared the screen, now I'm actually going to go ahead and ask you to find that floating bar. This is where you're going to come in and find your annotation tools. As you can see here, I have all my annotation tools. Now I have went ahead and tried to do these annotation tools. You can go ahead and use a mouse. You can go ahead and put in that text. So I'm going to ask you to actually go ahead and find the annotations. Join me in annotating over this screen. All right, Kim, I see some people that are getting creative. I'm not that creative, so I'm just gonna draw a big smiley face here for you guys. You can certainly utilize that annotation. It is really a great feature for you to be able to utilize. You can put stamps as well. Really excellent way to grab attention for individuals. We personally love the DOE here at Zoom. So just keep that in mind. You can always do these tags and stamps. You can also use the spotlighting feature that you've seen me use throughout this presentation. Additionally, you can use the eraser and erase specific annotation. You can format that, whether that you want to be a broad line. So I'm going to go back into draw here. It does take a little bit of practice for you to be able to get good with annotations. I personally use it all the time in my trainings, in my meetings, a really excellent way to grab people's attention. So just keep that in mind. So use it. You can go ahead and undo, redo. You can clear all drawings. You can certainly go ahead and save drawings. Additionally, you can go ahead and disable everyone's annotation. You can hide the name of the annotators. So as you can see here, certain individuals' names are popping up as they're annotating. So I can go ahead and hide their names, and their names are going to be hidden. So I wouldn't know who is annotating on my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and show the names of annotators one more time so everyone is able to see that. Additionally, you can share computer sound. Really excellent way of being able to share. I started training with a song, and I personally like to do this for all my training. So I can share my computer sound. Go ahead and open my iTunes. I can open Spotify and be able to play a song directly from here. So I'm feeling good this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and play that song.
Birds flying high,
see that and hear it. That's how you share your
you know how I feel.
So just keep that in mind.
Sun in the sky.
That's sharing your computer sound. You have an ability to be able to share that computer sound. I typically personally prefer to start all my trainings with a song just to get everyone in the mood as we start the training. So I'm really, really grateful that you guys are diving in and utilizing this annotation tool. Use it for all of your meetings. Grab people attention. It is there. And last but not least, you can always optimize your screen for video clips. So now I'm going to go ahead and clear everyone's annotation. Thank you so much for participating. I'm going to disable annotation as well. We really appreciate it. And thank you guys for partaking. So moving on, and along with others, polling is straight right here. You'll have an ability to be able to do polling directly from here. I'm going to move these out of the way so you are able to see where polling is. You can add a question if you want to. Not going to cover that. Happy to answer questions. Additionally, if you are recording, keep in mind this meeting is already recording. You'll have an option here to record. You have two options, either to the cloud, or you could record locally. If it's recording to the cloud, you'll get this cloud with a dot on it. If it's recording locally, it will be a circle with a dot on it. It is critical to remember, if you started a recording, if you stop the recording, it will stop the recording and start rendering that file. So if you want to keep your entire meeting under one recording, it's to pause the recording versus hitting stop. So stop versus pause, it is critical. Stopping, it's going to cut it off. It's going to be two different videos. If you pause it, it will just pause the recording. It will be one continuous video. If you want closed captioning, it's available here. Breakout rooms and meeting reactions. These are really cool, where you can give the claps, a really good way to interact with audience. You can do the thumbs up, you can do the hearts, you can do the laughing face, you can do the O face, and you can do the congratulations. Find them, play around with them. There's some really, really cool reactions on there to keep individuals engaged on there. And additionally, in your in-meeting controls, you'll have an ability to be able to look at streaming options. Last but not least, if you are wanting to end this meeting, you can certainly go ahead and end this meeting. Next, I'm going to go back to participants because I did miss a critical piece that I wanted to go ahead and share with you. Let's say that I wanted to go ahead and promote someone to a host. I can go ahead and hover over their name. I can chat with them directly. I can ask them to start a video. I can make them host. I can pass them co-host abilities. I can assign them closed captioning. I could allow them to record. I could allow them to multi-pin. So you can pin multiple people. If needed, you can rename, put in the waiting room. I could remove that individual or report. And that is simply done by hovering over a specific individual and then clicking on more. That is critical to know that you have that ability to be able to either pin multiple participants and be able to do so. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and pin myself. And now everyone is able to see me as I have pinned myself on here. So just keep that in mind. That is an option that is available to you. Next, actually, I'm going to cover our desktop application. So just keep that in mind. This is our desktop application. Once you download it, please go to zoom.us/download to download our desktop application. When you come in here, you'll be able to sign in. Once you've signed in and tapped in your DOE credentials, you'll come into your profile. This is where you're going to come in and check your updates right over here. You can always set your presence if needed. And additionally, you can switch accounts or sign out your accounts. The best experience that you are going to have is through our desktop application. That's the most amount of features that you'll have is going to be through the desktop application. And the reason that I actually showed you this last because it's critical. There's a couple of things that personally were a pet peeve of mine for a long time, which is that this meeting controls here is not appearing constantly. We are a video first platform and wanted to show you where you can enable those settings on the fly. So in order for you to go ahead and have this show meeting controls available to you all the time, we will always prioritize video. We will always disappear. If you want to change it, you can come in here, come into settings. Under general, you'll have some basic settings, and this is where you can go ahead and always show your meeting control. So it is this feature over here. If I went ahead and selected it, it's gonna disappear these meeting controls. I personally like to have access to all my meeting controls all the time, and this is where you're gonna find it. Under video, this is where you're gonna see all of your video options. As you can see here, I am using a HD Pro webcam. It's a Logitech camera. I'm not using my FaceTime built-in camera. It just has better quality. So as you can see, if I switch back into the Pro, it is a much better quality than the FaceTime camera that I have. Touch My Appearance is a really, really cool feature. We're not going to make you look like a model, but we will take care of some of the blemishes that might be there, the circle underneath your eyes. It's just going to make you look your best on Zoom. Utilize it. You can certainly choose and with the slider to make sure that you look your best on Zoom. Just for low lighting is an awesome feature that I personally would highly encourage you to use. For those low light situations, you can adjust your lighting as needed. So I personally like to leave it as auto because I'm always facing a window. I like to look outside and what's going on. I have a beautiful backyard and I like to see what's happening in the backyard and look at all the trees. And now it's snowing, there's absolutely no trees, but at least have an ability to be able to look outside. So lighting is also critical. If you have a low light situation, come in here and adjust for low light. Some other options here. By default, Zoom displays up to 25 participants into gallery view. If you want to have up to 49 participants, you do need to come in here and select that option to have up to 49 participants in gallery view. Under audio, this is where you're going to come in and test your audio. Remember, you can access this directly from here by testing your audio. All right. Yes. I finished testing my audio. You can test your audio this way. I am actually going to hop back in here and come back into the settings. You can always come in here and test your audio as well. You can do it either from the up caret or through the settings. And if your mics is working, you'll be able to see this right here as far as those green to red bars telling you that your mic is working, and the speaker as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch it back to my speaker here. You can also adjust the microphone volume automatically and be able to suppress background noise. Keep in mind that you can set it low to optimize for music as needed. If you're playing music over Zoom. Ringtones, you can change that if you want to. Additionally, you can mute your mic when joining a meeting and set some other options here for load. Next is going to be under screen sharing. There are some options here for screen sharing is to be able to scale content to fit Zoom. You can do side by side. When you share your screen, you can automatically share the desktop or show all the sharing options. I personally like to specify what I want to share because I have multiple screens that I'm looking at and I want to share something that's specific. So I like to see all the sharing options on here. Next that I'm going to cover is going to be virtual background and filters. As you can see here, we're in Hanukkah. Just wanted to support my Jewish brothers and sisters out there. Happy Hanukkah to everyone. Anyways, I have lots of virtual backgrounds on here. I like to come in and play around with them. You can go ahead and add video or image backgrounds, as I have indicated that virtual backgrounds are hardware specific, so you must have a hardware that is going to support virtual backgrounds on there to be able to utilize it. So you can come in and change those virtual backgrounds as needed. And you can put in some video virtual backgrounds. You can simply come in here and add a video if you want to, and that will give you an ability to be able to add that specific video for your virtual backgrounds. Video filters are pretty awesome. Really way to lighten up the mood. We're all in COVID. You can come in here and put on a mask. You can have a little bit more fun with your video filters. Studio effects are really cool. You can apply eyebrows, mustaches, lip color if you want to. Just a way to lighten the mood for your video filters. These can be turned off by your admin. So if you don't have access to them, that is okay. That means the DOE has decided that you don't get to use those features. Next is going to be recording. Under recording, you're these are the settings for your local recordings only. So you can come in here and decide where those recordings are going to go. Stats is really personally one of my favorite things on here. I get to see if what my overall stats here, what CPU am I utilizing, what kind of RAM is Zoom utilizing, looking at the bandwidth that I'm utilizing. I can look into the audio. So right here, if I am seeing a packet loss, it will show here. All that I know right now, you guys can hear me perfectly. You can see me perfectly because I have 0 packet loss. These are live time stats. Laura, I'm going to ask you to speak. So if you go ahead and speak, you'll see my receiving options that change, and you can see that frequency change. These are live options that will tell me my upload, my up packet loss and my down packet loss. If you're having issues, come in here and be able to see where that is.
So how's it looking?
It's looking great. And as you can see here, I can also see that your video sending and receiving video, and I'm sending video, and be able to see those stats. Those are live stats, as you can see here. Since I'm also sharing the screen, I'm able to see that, and I'm seeing 0 packet loss, and it's all going to be based on your internet connectivity. So we love feedback. Please submit your feedback to us. We want to hear your comments, suggestions, and ideas. Last but not least, accessibility. We have a commitment to make Zoom accessible, so you can technically run an entire Zoom meeting without ever needing to use a mouse. You can use your keyboard shortcuts. All right, thank you guys so much for hanging in. I'm gonna hop back into the presentation here and talk a little bit more about our mobile application. We have a mobile application that is available both for on Android and Apple devices. Go into the Apple store and be able to download that. Once you've downloaded it, please click on sign in. Select sign in with SSO. Type in your domain, which is NYCDOE. and be able to search. You can search for your domain as well by entering your email. Just keep that in mind. You can go ahead and sign in. And once you've signed in, you can be able to host meetings on here, have gallery, you can annotate, you can present, be able to share ideas. Additionally, we have a safe driving mode. We don't encourage you to Zoom while you drive. Zoom is made for meetings, not for driving, but in the instances that you do need to have that on the go and listen to that meeting, it is available to you. Lots of information is available for the NYC Info Hub. Please go on there. I'll go ahead and post this link in the chat for you. There is lots of guides, how to use Zoom, safety and security guards, DOE procedures for paid account holders. There's some HIPAA information on there if you need that. Please go into the Info Hub, get the information that you need. Support.zoom.us is an excellent way for you to be able to get all the information that you would need regarding Zoom and Zoom meetings. You could come in, watch videos, be able to see step-by-step directions on here. Before we end, I'm going to give you some pro tips for your Zoom experience. Before your meeting, always test your audio and video. Showed you how to do that. You can do that through the client. You can do that during the meeting, before you join the meeting. Close all applications with pop-ups. It's just going to have a cleaner experience. When hosting a meeting, please mute your microphone. If others are presenting or speaking, it is just common courtesy. All of us are working from home. We understand that you might have kids. It may be a little bit rowdy. Mute your microphone, share your screen, use specific applications, select that, share a specific application. Additionally, you can seamlessly transition between one share to another by clicking on a new share. You can use annotations to grab individuals, position your camera at eye level or slightly above eye level, make eye contact as much as possible with the camera to connect with individuals. Thank you guys so much for your time. Really appreciate it. It's been great speaking with you. Now I'm going to hop back into the questions, and we can go ahead and also take live Q&A. Please go ahead and raise your hand, given the number of people that we have, and I'll go ahead and call on you to get your questions answered. Laura, has there been any recurring questions on the meeting throughout this that I needed to address?
I mean, there's a few questions. I think the bigger one, and I can address this just from our end. So yes, we're recording, and we always post our recordings in our learning calendar. So I'm going to pop that link into the chat again, but that is where MedHat's going to send me the recording. It'll get posted there. I know that there's a lot of content, and I know that for some folks, you wish we would have gone a little slower, but as you can see, Zoom is a very robust platform. There's a lot of features. So my advice to you is when we post the recording, watch through it, skip to the part you need. Maybe it was the audio share, maybe it's about the backgrounds, but just review the recording. This is one of those situations where we wanted to make sure we provided as much information to you as possible so that you could kind of see all there is to do in Zoom. And there's a lot. I mean, I will tell you, Medhat, I learned a few things. I'm like, ooh, that's going to make running my next Zoom meeting fun. So we hear you, we know it's a lot, but we wanted to kind of give you a lot so that, you could run a really awesome meeting. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over. As Medhat said, if you want to come on your mic, please raise your hand. If not, pop it in the chat and then we'll facilitate that way as well.
Perfect, thank you. Before we take any questions, someone is asking they cannot take attendance reports. I'm actually going to show you where all of your reports are. All of your reports are under the reporting tab. You can come in here and be able to click on usage reports and be able to look at the participants of your meetings right around here. You'll have a number that you can click and be able to pull that report specifically for your meeting. Keep that in mind. That report is available 15 minutes after the meeting has ended. This is how you're going to get those attendance reports if you need that. All right, I'm going to go back into people that have raised their hand. I am going to butcher this name, Ierda please go ahead and ask your question and correct me if I'm wrong.
Hi, Iraida. You know, it's funny.
Iraida.
It's
All
funny. I
right.
knew you were gonna call on me, and then I said, "It's so funny. People always say that before they call on me." So I should have known it was me. So it's Iraida. I go by Johnny. Thank you for your presentation. You're amazing. I want to stay in contact with you because I've been using Google Meetings for everything because they're just a little more user friendly. There's not as many, you know, buttons all over the place, and not having to use like registration numbers to get in and give people. It just was a little scary and a little daunting. But since I got the Google Meeting thing down, I felt like I could move into Zoom because I have some of the basics down. I you know, I would like to stay in communication with you, and I wanted to do maybe like a practice session with someone where I didn't actually, you know, mess up my meeting. So I was just wondering, like, is there a chance for us to do like maybe one-on-one, like little practice sessions where we can actually, I know you're really busy, but you know, maybe, you know, some of the team members, I'll send out an email, some of the PCs, maybe we can get together and practice with each other.
I would recommend you to work with the NYC DOE. Unfortunately, I cannot support individual users. I'm more than happy to hold a Q&A for a lot of people.
Right.
There's lots of resources. I just put in a couple of support links. Support.zoom.us has amazing resources. Just keep that in mind. It is available to you. I'm going to highly encourage you to go ahead and use that. And
I'm going to send an email to Face, and a few of the PCs just saying, "I got you, Wanda, Montanez, and Barbara Ortiz." They're like, "Yeah, let's practice."
All right. Thank you so much. Let's take another question. Kathy, go ahead and ask your question, please.
Question.
Kathy, do you have a question? Kathy Gonzalez? All right. Thank you so much. And Kim, you raised your hand. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, just a quick, am I unmuted? Yes, I am. I'm sure many of us have multiple Zoom accounts, or at least two. I find that there's a constant battle between my DOE and my personal one, and I always have to log out. Is there a quick way to switch between the accounts?
That's going to be on the desktop application. You can switch
okay.
Accounts on the desktop application.
On
That's
the
going to
desktop.
be yeah. So I'm actually going to show you where that is. I'm going to share
Okay.
my entire screen one more time.
Thank you.
Hop into my desktop over here, and under your profile, you see you can go ahead and switch the account
Very good.
right
All right.
over here.
So that was the issue. Okay, I think I'm using the web-based one. Thank you.
Yep, on the web, you actually have to sign out.
Okay.
My recommendation for that is to use a different browser. So if you're using Chrome, use Chrome for the DOE.
Okay.
Use Safari or Edge or Firefox for your personal one, and just keep them isolated in two different environments so they don't mix and match. I have multiple test accounts. I always use a different browser just to keep my experience clean, because webs are always caching. There's always cache, there's cookies, and it's just not going to be as clean. So keep them isolated in two different browsers would be my recommendation. Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.
All right. Kathy Ringrose, please go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, so I'm not able to have my video on with my DOE account. And also all my preferences have been turned off by admin. Don't know how to turn them back on because clicked out of it, almost everything. I can't do video. They don't let me do polling, hosting. I'm off for the hosting. That's clicked off. So when I come on, if I go on my other computer, you'll just see a black box and I can't do anything. I have a ticket in. I just ran my computer downstairs to my laptop downstairs to my tech guy, and he is looking at it, but I already have a ticket in with DIIT. I called William Liu. He told me that I have to talk to admin, Zoom admin. So I don't even have my laptop here to even go over it, but I do have a ticket in. I have it in the chat, my ticket number with DIIT.
Yeah, I would recommend you working directly with the DAIT because these are settings that are set by the DIIT. They're not set up by Zoom. This is specific to your account. As you can see here, I'm logged into the NYC DOE account. These are the settings. Video is off by default. You can go ahead and turn that on. Polling, you do need to come in here and enable polling. So I'm just gonna sort of
But they wouldn't allow me. It's all off.
It's not off. It's actually on by default and it's locked. So all of you guys should have that. This is the NYC DOE account. So this is not a Zoom, like this is not my Zoom account. This is an NYC DOE test account. It is automatically on by default. Work with DAIT, put in a ticket. The help desk will be able to take care of you and help support you. So thank you so much for your question. But those, that's already, all these settings, if it's locked, that has been a decision that has been made at the district level.
So how do I expedite the ticket? Because I put it in before Thanksgiving. And I called DIIT. I know you don't know.
That's an internal DIIT process. I encourage you to work with DIIT. I do not work for DIIT. I work for Zoom, so I apologize that I don't know what the internal process.
So Kathy, I chatted you directly. If you look in the chat,
everything's all over everything. Okay.
So just look in the chat, and if you could respond to me, I may be able to escalate this for you. Okay. I understand the frustration. We get it. We'll try and hopefully get this resolved for you.
Thank you, Laura.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you.
All right. We have 2 more minutes. If you have a question, please go ahead and raise your hand. Yvette, you go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, good afternoon, and thank you so much for the work for this PD. So my question basically is, when I do the Zoom, I like to try, when we're doing the elections, I try to put my coworker as the alternate, and it accepted other people, but it wouldn't accept her specifically. She is a DOE employee. She's my support person at the office, and so I didn't understand why I couldn't put her, but I was able to put other PCs, and I couldn't put her.
Understandable, because there's 2 different accounts, and there's an instructional account, and then there's a DOE non-instructional account. If your account lives in 2 different accounts, you can't use them as an alternative host, and you must live under the same account. And that would be my my hypothesis, that she's either on the DOE account or you're on the instructional account, and that you can't have alternative hosts across those 2 accounts.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Kay, go ahead and ask your question. This will be the last question of the day.
Thank you. My name is Kai Sid, and I work for FACE. And thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. My question is, we usually have community education meetings, and we have like a main room where we have the whole situation happening in English. And for interpretation, we have to create separate language lines, and we usually use Teams for that. My question to you, does Zoom has the capacity to host like a main room and then host like breakout rooms separately, where we could have like use it for like interpretation? You know, is there a way to do that?
There is. There's actually an easier way. I'm going to go ahead and put in a support link on here for you for language interpretation. Everyone will be actually in the same meeting. Individuals, as they're coming in to the meeting, they will get to choose a different audio channel for them to be able to listen to the interpreter. So they're still all in the same meeting. You think you're talking about 2 different things. There's breakout rooms, and
right,
putting everyone into a breakout room, and that is separate than language interpretation. However, in this meeting, I can have up to 5 different languages that are supported and have 5 different interpreters. As I'm coming in, I get to select, hey, I want Spanish. Oh, okay, I want French. I want to listen to the Chinese audio channel. I can want to listen to the German audio channel, Portuguese, so forth and so on. You can select the languages. I'm gonna go ahead and put in that in the chat. And I covered it very briefly when I was going through, is to enable language interpretation when scheduling the meeting as an option, to have that option in for language interpretation. So just keep that in mind. It's an option that must be enabled when you're scheduling the meeting, that you want language interpretation for that specific meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, thank you guys so much. I know we're 2 minutes over. I apologize for going over. Just wanted to make sure that I answered that last question. Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure, and I'll turn it over to Laura.